Hi everybody, Leslie here, back in my craft lab, and quick apology first, I forgot to record any audio on this, but this is me doing a voiceover. So this is the card that we're going to make today, and this is based on a reel that I did a few years ago, which was actually a 50th wedding anniversary, golden wedding for my parents. So this is actually the 18th birthday card for my daughter. Don't worry, she's already had this before I put the video out. This is done in exactly the same way as the 50th anniversary. It's just I'm using a circle instead of a heart on this version of it. And also down the bottom where it's got her name, instead of having her name on my anniversary one, I stamped happy anniversary. I'll pop some footage of that in there, and I'll put some other footage that's actually got the audio so you can hear the lovely shaker. So to make these cards, I used flat shaker covers for card making. I got them on Amazon, and the pack I got happened to have 50 in it in all different sizes, and mine came with squares, they came with circles and some DL size ones, as well as ones I'm going to use, which I think are about 4 inches by 5.2. These come with a sort of film on the front and the back of them. You have to peel the film off to get them nice and clear. But of course, you could make these for yourself out of acetate. Obviously, just cut it to the size you want and then score around the edges and cut a little triangle off each edge. But these were quite inexpensive. I pre-prepared this one. I've already taken the plastic sheet off the inside, so the side that's going to face the inside of my pocket. The other side's still on, so I don't scrape it while I'm using it. And I've just put some red liner tape, which is just really strong double-sided adhesive, on the inside so that it will stick to my pocket. Ignore that ink on the back for now. What I do is I cut my card down so it's a little bit smaller than the opening inside the shaker. And that means that when we come to do it and stick it down, the acetate will bow ever so slightly, and then you've got space for whatever shaker pieces you want to pop in there. I tested all my different ink colours on the back of the card that I'm using so that I can match that to my paper later on, because it fades and inks sort of dry back different colours. Now, the next part is I've got a piece of just scrap copy paper, the same size as my panel. And obviously I matched the circle die to the size that my frame is. And my circle dies have helpfully got a little notch on them at the quarter marks. I'll show you how to do that on yours if you've not got them in a moment. So I folded my copy paper in half, then lined my centre marks up, and that means that my side-to-side spacing is correct, and then I just had to do my top-to-bottom spacing and work out with my frame where I wanted it to sit. So if your dies don't have that nice feature on them where they've got the marks on, cut yourself one out, fold it in half, and then pop it back in like a puzzle piece, turn it over, and then you can use a permanent marker or a paint pen, something that won't come off to the metal too easily, and mark those two little notches, and then you've got a centre line so that you can do the same with any set of nested circles. I use folded up bits of scrap paper all the time for measuring, and I've got a video that I'll link in the description to how you can actually extend this theory and do like your own cover plate dies with tiny little dies without having to do any measuring and get perfect spacing every time. Now, all we need to do is grab whatever ink colour we're using, and like I say, I've matched it to my pattern paper, and that was what those test spots were on the back. This happens to be a really old Stampin' Up one, and just a warning, this one has leaked because my craft room gets very cold, and inks, especially on foam pads, they don't like getting sort of hot and cold, so that's why mine's leaked. But all I'm doing is using my template, not very well as it moves, to get my nice inky circle on my background, and that is the only thing that is actually going to sit on the inside of my card. And this is what I mean. I've tested that ink colour on the back and let it dry, because you might be able to see it looks quite brown, but it really does dry back really quite nice and pink. Always test your inks on the actual card you're using. So the best bit, as always, is of course the reveal. Here's our nice inked circle. Now these are just little pieces of Swiffer cloth that I cut off, great big ones, and they're fantastic for getting any little bits and pieces off acetate, dust, in my case dog hair. I have 2 dogs and it gets everywhere. So I'm just cleaning the inside of my acetate. I've made sure that 3 of the sides are nicely scored down. And then all we're going to do is peel off the sticky on one side and make sure that that one side is stuck really well. And as you can see, I'll get that nice bowed effect so that we can get our shaker bits in there. Peel off the other side, stick that down, make sure it's well stuck, using my bone folder to press it down. And then we're going to do the same with the bottom edge, get that well stuck on there. Obviously, you can't put glitter or anything in these because the glitter would come out of the corners, but nice small confetti. I'm using some that was £1 in the Works in the UK. And the other one that I'm using, it's like a little clay confetti. This is also from the Works. It's just the bag burst, so I put it in a little Old Spice jar. I'm about to do something very strange. My pattern paper doesn't have any blue on it, and I didn't like the bright blue stars, so I literally spent 5 minutes picking all those blue stars out before I decided to stick it in my shaker. I really did do that. Now all I'm doing is smoothing out, making sure that the confetti that I've got in there, it's all sort of sitting flat because it's pointy stars, and the same happens with hearts. If there's some of it that's not sat quite flat and the points are sticking into the acetate, then it kind of gets stuck. And then our final side, peeling off the red liner tape, and I've actually put the red liner tape too close to the edge, so I'm going to end up in a second with all of the confetti stuck at the top edge. Now, it doesn't actually matter. It just means that a bit will stay at the top of the card when it's all falling to the bottom. I didn't mind that too much. Now, don't forget, if you're using these shaker pockets, you need to peel the film off the front now as well. This is the paper I'm using. You can see what I mean about it not having that bright blue in it. It's a really old collection from Studio Calico. I think it's called Snippets, but it's from 2012. As it happens, it is actually the same paper pad that I used on my 50th wedding anniversary card. The colours in there just happen to suit my younger daughter who loves rainbows. I'm going to use a 5x7" card, and I'm actually going to completely cover the front of it. Now, my piece of paper is a little bit tatty because it's very old and it's already been used. This is the only piece of this I have left. I'm going to line it up with the folded edge on my card. I'm going to pop glue all over the front panel, and then I'm going to slide so that I've got the folded edge right up against the nice neat bit on the colour that I want. Make sure that's nicely lined up, and that's the advantage of using a wet glue, that you can slide it into the right position. Smooth it down really well. I'm going to let it dry for a little bit, then flip it over, and with any pair of long straight scissors, cut from behind, and you butt your scissors up to the edge of the card and you just cut, and it cuts it dead straight right around the edges. And that's how I always cover cards if I want it to go edge to edge. You don't need to measure, you just stick it where you want it. Then we're going to move on to sticking our panel on. Used a mixture of tape runner and glue to do that, just to make sure it got a really good adhesion onto the card. These are the cutting dies that I used. These are from the Works in the UK. They're what they call their M&C boutique range, or their make and create range. That's the heart shape that I used on the 50th wedding anniversary card. It was also from the Work. And I just found a solid heart shape in my stash that matched it. Didn't match exactly, but that was what I used to make my mask on that one. For the bits going on top of the shaker pocket, I'm using Hunky Dory Rainbow Mirri card. It's a really nice thick card, and to use it on top of the acetate, I have stuck some double-sided tape on the back of mine. Mine is Stick It brand and it's big sheets, but if you've only got narrow tape, you can always just line them up with each other and just stick normal double-sided tape on the back. That works as well. I thought while I was showing you dies, I'd show you what I used to cut out the hearts that were in the anniversary card. It was actually a Time for Tea Designs cover plate. I cut the hearts out of nice solid Mirri card, but it was the same as the rainbow card, that it was only coloured on one side. So I did make sure that they were all obviously sitting the right way up, but they're big enough that they don't flip over. So I cut my frame out of my Mirri card that had the stick it on the back. All I had to do then was line it up. So that's lined up with that inked circle that's on the inside of our shaker panel. Give it a really good smooth down with my bone folder. Make sure it sticks really, really well. This is the die set that I used for the numbers and the letters for a name. It's an old X-cut one. I can't find it anywhere anymore. I've had it for years, but if you see this one on eBay, it's one of my most used dies because it's got the ordinals in there. So the TH, RD, first, etc. So you can do anniversary cards, big birthdays, and you've got the little letters to match for the ordinals. So when I sat the Alicia on top of that confetti, which was also sort of rainbow mirror, it didn't quite look right. It was getting a bit lost on top of those shaker bits. So I just made myself a quick drop shadow set, and just out of white card, and they're just ever so slightly offset. And it just lifts them a bit, even though it's actually still flat. I don't know if you can see the difference on screen, but it does make a difference in real life. And then her name does stand out much better. And this is how I line things up. I use my T-ruler because I'm terrible at getting things straight. Line it up, and then I've got my release paper all off all of my letters, ready to go, stuck on some of the release paper off my double-sided, and then I can just space my letters. You'll notice I'm only gently laying them on there. They're not getting pushed down until I've finished my spacing, so I can move them around a bit and get nice equal spacing between those letters. So that's our card all finished. It really makes a lovely shaky sound. If you've been enjoying my content today, please don't forget, comment, like, share if you've got crafty friends. It really does help all of us small creators. And if you've not subscribed already, if you click on my channel icon, you should be able to subscribe there. I'll see you again in another video soon. Bye for now.